Yo, how's it going everybody? Chadley here. Welcome back to another New World video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at exactly how I reached level 60 pretty quickly. It took me just under a week since the game launched to reach it. I did hit this the other day. But in today's video, we're going to be looking at exactly what I did to get there. And I honestly probably played majority of this solo. And if not, usually just with like one other person, besides like the expeditions that you have to do for some main story quests. Those obviously you got to group into fives. But everything else was pretty much solo or duos. So we're just going to look at what I did in the early game, mid game, and late game to reach level 60. And if you guys follow these steps, you'll have no issues hitting level 60, whether you're a solo player or you got an entire group. But real quick, before we dive fully into the video, I'll be in several wars today. So if you guys want to come see the fire staff build in action that we're working on completing here, I should have a level 60 kind of base version out tomorrow, and then I'll have like the perfected one here whenever I can get all the gear. There's a lot of grinding to be done, so keep a lookout for that. But otherwise, let's go ahead and start looking at how I reached level 60 so quickly. Now, starting off with early game stuff, when you guys are early game, all you're going to be doing is your main quests when you can do it, and then a bunch of side quests. Just pick an area with a lot of side quests and just start knocking them all out, and then whatever new ones show up, just go and knock them out. So like one night in Cutlass Keys, we just ran around for like 2-3 hours just completing all of the missions over here. This is like really the only one that we have left because this came up later, but otherwise we went up 1 to 2 levels in just doing that. Honestly, probably more than that. And it's just super easy. We just ran around, did all those quests, and quest progression is probably your best bet for majority of this game. I know plenty of people who even hit 60 just pretty much doing the main story quests and all the side quests. They didn't do really any sort of town boarding or corruption portal farming, nothing really of that nature. It was just purely quests. Otherwise, as you guys are doing these quests, all you need to be doing is making sure you're working on different trade skills as you're going around. So like your mining, logging, any sort of the crafting related things to it. So stone cutting, that type of stuff, because that will help you out later. One of the big things that I used later on to level up was having a level 100 plus stone cutting, because this will play into the town board, which we'll get into later. And also leveling up these different trade skills actually give XP, and at the lower levels, it's a very noticeable amount of XP. So that will add up over time, and you guys can get quite a few levels just based off of leveling those. Now for your mid-game levels, you're going to be doing basically the same thing. You're going to be rocking out all of the main quests when you can do it, and also your side quests. The main quests in this game give so much XP, and some of them are just like walk 500 feet and here's a free 7k XP. It's insane how much some of these give out. So as long as you guys are doing that, you're going to get a ton of levels. But here in this mid-game level is where you can start incorporating the town board. I know a lot of people don't like it. I don't like it. It's kind of boring. But otherwise, it's just still such good levels. This thing's already been nerfed across like the betas and stuff like that, and it's still just incredibly strong. So what I mean by that is the town board here in all the settlements. If you open it up, you have a range of missions here that will randomly appear, and you can go ahead and knock them out. And what you can do with this is, I got a lot of levels off of these iron armament type things. These are not that hard to make. They just take like iron ore or ingots, rawhide, wood, that type of thing. Just really basic materials, and they give you some of them almost 2k XP, but a lot of them will be like a couple hundred to 1,000 early on. And these will add up. I just knocked out a bunch of these as I went when I had iron and things like that, and it added up to be a lot of levels. Otherwise, if there are missions that you don't like, so like these explorers needed, I would not bother with these at all. Like, you have to go and do things, and it's only a couple hundred XP. Don't bother with these. If you guys don't have a mission that you want, all you need to do is accept it, click it again, and then abandon it, and then just wait for the timer in the top right where it says all missions will refresh in X amount of time. Once that resets, all of these new missions available soon will pop up with a new mission, and you guys can pick from newer and better quest items. So what I was saying earlier in the early game section with the town boards kind of relating to your crafting skills is, since, for example, with my stone cutting 100 that I got, I was able to start making lodestone bricks. They'll show up in these like middle columns here in the 4 quadrants, and those give thousands of XP. So if I turned in 40 lodestone bricks, it was like close to 7,500 XP, which in mid game is a ton, and even late game is a ton as well. So that's why through these early and mid game levels, make sure you are leveling all your different trade skills as well, because they will come into play for making your leveling easier. But now finally talking about the end game levels, this is usually levels like 45 all the way up to 60, 50 to 60, that range. This is where it gets a little bit tougher, because there are a lot of story missions that revolve around being in a group. You're going to start having to run like the Depths Expedition, the Dynasty Expedition. There are missions after Dynasty that involve killing a very difficult boss, world boss, and we couldn't do it until we had like 7 or 8 people there. It was pretty nuts. We were basically just waiting for people to catch up to us. Me and a friend of mine who just kind of did our own leveling, and we're probably some of the furthest on the server, definitely furthest in our faction. We were just ended up waiting for people to catch up to us because we couldn't really progress anymore through like the main story. But what we had to do was basically just knock out whatever side quests we have left. I really don't have that many after doing that. A lot of the ones up here are ones that I unlocked here at like 58 to 60 range. These unlocked. Otherwise, everywhere else, I kind of knocked out all the missions, all the areas beforehand. I have like 1 or 2 left. And they were mainly just because like they were really hard to get done with a lot of people. Like I still have Overseer Zane up here in Everfall. Still haven't done that because there was always too many people, and I ended up just skipping it. So once I was at this point, I was probably level like 57, 58. And really the only thing I could do until I got a group was just Townboard. So unfortunately, I had to just straight up abuse town boards and portal farming. So basically what I would do is I would start at like home base here in Windsward, and maybe gather up some resources, things that I know that I will probably turn in, and I'll travel around to the different settlements. I'd go to like Brightwood. We had Ebonscale at the time. I'd go there. I'd check Everfall, Monarchs. I'd go to all these different town boards, pick out the missions that are really easy for me to complete for a lot of XP, come back to Windsward, craft them all, go back around. So this would cost a lot of Azoth, which is why the corruption portals come in, which is another really good way of farming XP. You can do those in like the mid levels as well, because you can start doing them around like level 20 to 25. Those are the basic ones, and there's always huge groups running it. So if you guys are leveling and you're in that like mid tier, that's another thing you can do. I didn't do it too much, but I know that's something a lot of people do. But otherwise, I was just trying to balance my Azoth and townboarding, and I just went around for like the last 2 levels. It didn't take that long. It was pretty much just at the mercy of the town boards and what missions they gave me for how fast I leveled. But it really wasn't that bad. And now that I'm 60, we can go ahead and just start doing whatever we want. But just to recap, for early game, you're going to be just running quests and side quests, those types of things, and leveling your different skills. That's really all you need to focus on through like the first, say, like 20 to 30 levels. And then after that, all the way up until about 45 and 50 is where you're going to be running just more missions. You can throw in some town boards and also corruption portals. You can kind of balance it, do whatever you need to do there. It's completely up to you at that point. And then the end, if you guys don't have a group, you are going to have to rely on different town boards and corruption portals to level up, because some of these main missions and quest areas that you need to go in end up getting very, very difficult, and without a proper group, it was next to impossible for us to do it. We ended up just trying to like skip everything we could to knock out certain missions, and just maybe like say go pick up the objective chest or whatever we needed to do in that area. We just tried to skip fighting anybody because it just ended up becoming too much, especially with the spawn rates right now in the game. Enemies are coming back so quickly. If you guys are playing solo or even sometimes in like a duo, you cannot clear the enemies fast enough just because of lack of people, and they'll end up like respawning on top of you, and it just ends up being a complete pain. Yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic time leveling your character up to 60. If you guys did enjoy this video, learned a little bit of something, make sure to leave a thumbs up on it to let me know. Also consider subscribing for more New World content. Like I said at the start of the video, if you want to come see the Firestaff build live in action, also in a couple wars, we're going to be doing that today. I'll probably be starting stream right as this video is going live. But anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya.